Hello, topic today is whether or not Theosophy is pseudoscientific. It's a complex subject matter, and there's arguments for and against. If you want to find out the quick answer, you gotta stay a while and listen. So what is Theosophy? So I'm going to give you two definitions, one with a lowercase and one with an uppercase. So let's begin with the lowercase. Theosophy in the lowercase is divine wisdom. Looking at the Greek etymology, Theos and Sophia combined together. Divine wisdom, love. The love of divine wisdom. So theosophical knowledge is as ancient as wisdom. So it sounds pretty old, isn't it? Because those little parables, those little sayings, those are the theosophical knowledges. Those are the meanings carried over time, through expression and experiences, through trial and error. So theosophy is a practice. It's a practice of human behavior. Because there is no theosophy without human beings. Therefore it is related to humans only. Because theosophical expressions are the expressions of the mind. The mind having to live is the situation of theosophy having to come about. Because when you're alive, you're going to have to interact with the science of wisdom. And that means observing it. That means coming up with hypothesis of how wisdom works. Wisdom works in the regard that you have a conscience. It works in the regard that you feel and that you think and plan. Because wisdom does carry knowledge, but knowledge can only go so far. Knowing everything means nothing if it doesn't have the right application and the right structure and the right framework. But then it sounds like knowledge only wants something. It's only thinking about its ends. And therefore, that kind of knowledge is not full wisdom, because wisdom exists always in the capacity of reflection. Wisdom is always an afterthought, but your intuition might save you. You see, this lowercase theosophy is very ancient. It is the nectar of sages. It is divine, and it is special. And anyone can harness it. Anyone can do theosophy in the lowercase. So how did theosophy become an uppercase? When it became an organization. So Helena Blavatsky, in 1875, she founded the Theosophical Society, and it was decided that would be the name. So the early founders decided to call it that, and they were seeking inspiration from theosophy as a subject matter of human development, because wisdom is developed over time. It's only through time that wisdom can be shown. So when people talk about the passage of time, it's very theosophical. So when it became an organization, it did care about wisdom, but that's not all the Theosophical Society does. They do more than just wisdom. They do a lot more. Because they believe in magic. They believe in magic. They practice magic. They believe in auras. They believe in astral travel. They believe in fairies. They believe in talking and communicating with the dead. They believe in clairvoyance. They believe in channeling. They believe that they can be a vehicle for a cosmic force that they embody through what they say and what they speak and what they feel. So the Theosophical Society is a treasure chest of magic. And it's the closest thing you'll get to real life magic that has a sense of a science. So this isn't baby witchcraft. This isn't those little cute books that you get at the bookstore with the nice writing and little potions and stuff. Theosophical Society is not really interested in potions, but they're interested in the magic of colors. So you can see how it could relate to chemistry and alchemy. And it does, because the Theosophical Society is the occult sciences. So what does occult mean? Occult means esoteric. It means just the knowledge that the few have. So it is the arcane knowledge. It is those old mysterious books and manuscripts. Those are the ones that the Theosophical Society is aware of. And then they use that for more observation and more understanding. Because the Theosophical Society is all about sharing knowledge and information. So Theosophists, they give lectures. They give long talks on so many different diverse subject matters, it's endless. It never stops. So that's why the Theosophical Society was the closest thing to the original internet. It truly was. It was a living archive of people having specific, specialized skills of knowledge. So every person was like their own Wikipedia page. And so people traveled and they would give talks on very niche subjects. So this was a blooming period of enlightenment. Theosophical Society is for people who are very engaged in these subject matters. So that is why it's not something for mockery, even though they have been subjected to it. So therefore, the pseudoscientific label has been applied to Theosophy because of their susceptibility to engage with magic. And I think that is understandable that it could be applied that way, and that it could be called pseudoscientific. So, when something is called pseudoscientific, it means that they're trying to invalidate it. And so, Theosophy still stands regardless of the invalidation because it still exists. There's still a Theosophical Society, and it's still here, and it still was. So in this regard, you cannot disregard the collection of beliefs and practices of the Theosophical Society as completely pseudoscientific, but just know that that terminology has been applied to them, and it is fair in some regards in the sense that they do practice magic, because you cannot fully understand the science of magic. It's a very difficult thing to explain, but the Theosophical Society is the closest thing that tries to bring a science to it. How it's possible. Because they do dedicate themselves to these subjects. So, in this regard, when Theosophy was developing, it encountered a group called the Psychical Research Society. So they were another oppositional group to them. So they were the first ones to start applying this terminology. So this is a story that has many different passages, many different twists and turns. Because Theosophy has benefited us in the sense that it allowed for a religious opening. Because people could now freely explore religions that they felt closer to. So in many ways, Theosophy enabled people to be more free. It enabled you to be more free. And that you could practice any religion you wanted to, and Theosophy was used as a way for different religions to talk to each other. And that's why the Theosophical Society was involved in the World Parliament of Religions. So it was involved in bringing religions back to life. And it's really the strongest contribution, I think, because it's very possible that Hinduism could have gone extinct without Theosophy. It was the Theosophical Society that showed Gandhi what were the texts of his ancestors. Because the British were colonizing India and were forcing Christianity, alienating Hindu traditions, that people were losing touch with their spirituality and they were losing touch with their roots. And they didn't know fully the Hindu traditions. So Gandhi being introduced to Hinduism through the Theosophical Society is a way that many people were introduced to Hinduism that were Hindu. And it's because of colonialism that it oppressed. And in this way, this is a perfect example of how the Theosophical Society freed so many millions and millions of people from imperialism. Theosophy is an anti-imperialist movement. It is decolonization in real time. And all those professors, they don't understand. They don't talk about decolonization in correct terms if you don't talk about theosophy. Because a theosophical lodge being established was a prerequisite for independence. It happened. These lodges paved the way for freedom. And this is important regard, because the story of countries coming about is the one of theosophy. That's how influential it was. India, Indonesia, Australia. It goes on because those who called for independence, they were in contact with the Theosophical Society and they viewed it as a source of inspiration. So, the pseudoscientific regard, it doesn't even apply anymore because the teachings of Theosophy, the ones of universal brotherhood, of ending oppression, of regarding us all as part of a cosmic family, of allowing for religious freedom. These are theosophical teachings that were enhanced by the society. So the society did play a role in world history right before our eyes. So overall, this conversation has been a productive one because we see that the richness of the theosophical tradition, it outstretches the pseudoscientific label